They said, you never know what you're going to get until you actually start. Next thing, he's off, I'm off the boat. So in my head, I was going, okay, I can't breathe yet, but I know I'm going to get to the top. All of a sudden, I could feel where I was, but I wasn't moving anymore. And there was just white water all around me. And I realized that there was a rock, my body, and the boat was stuck on the rock and stuck on me. But in my world, in my reality, and this is Choices My Reality, I went, this is not happening. I am not dying. I am not drowning. What is choice for you? And if you look at that, it's like, how do you choose? Do you choose mostly from, trying to get it right or wrong? I know that sounds weird, but a lot of people just have decided that they're wrong, that they're fucked up, that they're bad, they're, all of that. So they will choose something to match that so that they can live in that constant state of judgment, and, have the reasons and justifications for choosing a life that is lesser than, rather than choosing to live, like truly, truly live and create a different possibility. So I realized that one of the things I do a lot is control, right? And you would have heard me talk about it, and, control freak of magnitude. And a lot of you do control. Now, my question to you is, what is your basis for control? So you have, like you choose things based on something, right? So that's the basis, and it's the plural form of bases. So a basis is the structure that you use to have a right life, and the structure by which you weigh and measure the lose or win of all situations. Okay. So it's like, what does it cost you to get something? It seems to play a crucial role when determining our gains or our losses, right? So, and basis is everything that you do and you don't do. So if I ask you a question about how many bases do you have for choosing? And even notice, like, when I ask you that question, it's like, what shows up in your world? Is there people? Is it family? Is it your partner? Is it your kids? Is it money? Is it business? Is it your culture? Is it your religion? So how many bases do you have for choosing? So it's like this check-in. You're sort of like, oh, before I choose, I've got to like look at all of this. So everything at that is times a godzillion. We destroy and uncreate it. Here we go. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pod, all nine shorts, boys, povads, bases, and beyond. Okay. How many bases do you have for the amount of money you would allow in your life? Just let that sit there for a second. As I ask you the question again, how many bases do you have for the amount of money you would allow in your life? How many of you are not willing to earn more money than anyone else in your family? Or maybe you grew up in Latin America, and I cannot tell you the amount of countries that I go to in Latin America, Mexico, Colombia, to name a few, have this point of view that if you have a lot of money, how'd you get the money? It's like, is it corrupt? Okay. So if you have that point of view that you're not willing to have copious, ridiculous amounts of money, join the billionaires club, millionaires club. It's like, and you have that basis for the amount of money that you'd like to have, then you will literally refuse to receive anywhere that there is easy money, anywhere that more money can show up. So you will spend your entire life resisting, avoiding, like defending, proving all of your judgments about what it is to have money as right, true, and correct. Let's go back to choice is your reality. If choice is your reality, what would you choose in regards to money? If choice is your reality, what would you choose in regards to business? How much do you not choose because you're so caught up in control, you're caught up in right and wrong, which is the basis of how, as I said before, you weigh and measure the lose or win of all situation. How many of you have been trying to play this sort of like safety game with your choices instead of just choosing? So how many bases have you created to choose? And everything at that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it. right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot all nine, shorts, boys, provids and beyonds. Look, there's something else that showed up when I was in Costa Rica as well that really changed, I think, the trajectory of my life. It created this demand in my world for something different and something greater. I made a video about this and I put it out on my social media because we went whitewater rafting and whitewater rafting in grade 2 and 3, and it was great. It was awesome. You got these little breaks. And you're like, oh, look, there's a bird, there's an iguana, and you're having this moment, and it was really great, and it was awesome. I've done that one before, and then there was 2 boats, so I think there was 10 of us that went out, and we decided to do grade 4, and we'd all done whitewater rafting except for one of us. So anyway, so grade 4 is a lot different, okay, and it's on the San Miguel River in Costa Rica, and they said to me before, they said, you never know what you're going to get until you actually start paddling, right? Because they said some people freak out and don't paddle, so they're trained that they've got to get through this on their own, okay? So anyway, so there's 5 of us on our boat, and the first white water, my friend Hugo is sitting in front of me, and he's a big guy, and he starts to fall off in this white water, and I don't know, my instinct was to try and grab him. He's a big guy. Next thing, he's off, I'm off the boat. So you're just going dumped into this white water. Now, grade 4, okay, it's pretty big, but all of a sudden, I'm like, I don't know if you've ever been swimming in a beach and you're getting dumped by a wave. That's happened to me plenty of times living in Australia. So when you get dumped, you maybe get swirled around and there's water everywhere, obviously, and it's white water, okay? But you get to the top eventually. So you sort of have this like, okay, just, don't breathe in water, blah, 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 but you're going to get to the top. So in my head, I was going, okay, I can't breathe yet, but I know I'm going to get to the top. And then all of a sudden I could feel where I was, but I wasn't moving anymore. And there was just white water all around me, and I couldn't breathe because I was underwater. So I actually took in a bunch of water, and I realized that there was a rock, my body, and the boat was stuck on the rock and stuck on me. So I was jammed in there, and no one knew where I was instantaneously. And we have like a safety kayak guy, and he could see from a distance what had happened. And Cody, one of the guys that was on our boat, he said he thought, oh, we're stuck on a rock. And then he realized, oh, we're not stuck on a rock, we're stuck on Simone. And the kayak guy yelled out to the rafting guy, now, this is all white water, okay, grade 4. Let me reiterate that again. And so he realized what had happened. So he jumped off the boat, like shimmied the boat. So as soon as you shimmy it, right, you can't just sort of stop and go, okay, is everyone okay? Because there's grade 4 white water. So as soon as he did that, he had to jump back on, and the boat goes, and then I went off, and then straight into white water again. Somehow I grabbed hold of this rock, because there's lots of rocks, and I jacked myself up with one foot and my back on this another rock, and just coughed up all this water, and was actually burping and coughing at the same time, I think, all this water. And in my head, I was like, okay, I need to navigate this and sort of look at the situation and see what's happening. Oh, when I was under the boat too, when I realized I was jammed under there, I was trying to lift the boat up, like just to get some sort of air. I let go of my oar by that stage because I was like, and I knew that I could not breathe for quite a few minutes, like I would be okay, but I was also knew that I was in white water and what was going to happen after here, right? But in my world, in my reality, and this is Choices My Reality, I went, this is not happening. I am not dying. I am not drowning in San Miguel River in Costa Rica because I've been jammed in between a rock and a boat. And my foot actually got stuck on one of the rocks a little bit too. And I was like, I knew I had to get my foot out of there. So I got my foot out of there. And then I think it was all just like, dum, dum, dum. And the magic of your body is incredible. And the one thing I realized was I trusted my body so much at that moment. It was like, show me what to do, right? So then when we shimmied ourselves up on this rock, later on, the rafting instructor said to me, he said, I looked back and he said, you were like a mermaid, just like perched up on top of the rocks. But by this stage, they'd gone quite down the river, and the kayak guy, of course, has gone down the river too. And I knew I have to look at this safety kayak guy to navigate how the hell I get out of here. And he yelled out to me, and he was like, "Hey, swim." Like, and they teach you that if you fall off, to put your body so that it's your head is going upstream, so that if you're going to hit rocks, your feet are going to hit rocks and it's not your head. I mean, I've got a helmet on too, but to swim, obviously you can't do that. You have to swim, right? And use your strokes. And I'm a good swimmer, but again, you're on whitewater grade 4. So he's like, swim. And he's like, and he said, "You're right in the middle." And he said, he was like, "Swim to the left, swim to the left." So I was trying to swim as hard as I could. He was sort of trying to head towards me as well. And then you're just getting dumped and dumped again, and then smashing into rocks. Like, I actually only ended up with really bruised left shin and knee, and a little bit of bruising on my right shin. That's the only bruises that I had, which was amazing. And then out of the corner of my eye, I can see our rafting instructor has got, they have this like bag that they throw out to you that has a rope in it. And I was like, I have to get that. I know I have to get that. And I know I'm good at stuff like this. So as soon as he threw it, I was like, I've got to get this, or I'm just going to keep getting washed down everywhere. So I grabbed it, and then I have to pull myself into the boat. Again, there's not this moment that everyone's like, "Hey, is everyone okay?" Andrew Gardello, another friend of mine, was talking to me, and I could see that he was like checking in on me, but I couldn't hear anything. Like, I couldn't hear, and I couldn't breathe that well either. I was breathing sort of just enough. And I was like, "I can't hear you." And I saw him, he pointed, and I went, "Okay." And I thought, I'm going to head for that. So I just pulled myself in and headed for that moment. And then we all jumped in the boat, and then we were in the middle of a whitewater, grade 4. So then we just had to go again. So it was a little bit of time before, it was like, "Hey, you okay?" And Hugo, then they got Hugo in. So I did have a little bit of breathing space for that, which was good. But the energy in my body and the exuberance in my body and my being after that event, I was like, fuck yes. I am choosing everything and anything that's possible. I will choose more joy. I will choose more happy. I will choose more, more, more. And if choice is my reality and I'm not right and I'm not wrong, then what am I going to choose? So it just gave me this like super desire to have more, to always have more. And that's a question you can ask yourself too. What do you desire? What do you desire? And as you're choosing something, ask, does this fulfill what I desire? Because when you ask what you desire, there's stuff that you cognitively know what you desire, and then stuff that you it's not cognitive, it's energetic, okay? So your body and your being both have desires. So what do you desire? Okay? And if you trust yourself to ask a question and trust yourself to choose, like one of the things I got to as well is realizing that, that control stuff. I mean, I couldn't frigging control when I'm jammed underneath the boat, right? You can't really control when you're horse riding either. I mean, obviously control your horse, that's a different control. There's a control to create a greater possibility, to create greatness. Let's say it like that. And to create greatness when you're riding is to lead, because your horse is looking for you to lead. It's like, where do you want to go? Like if you get on a horse and you're not asking the horse to do anything, then it starts going, what the fuck? Like it's like might run or it might freak out or something. Horse riding, it's such a partnership that you have with your horse. Same as with your body, okay? So do you have this partnership with your body, with your business, with your money, with anything, that you're being in question and allowing a different choice to show up, allowing greatness to show up is what I'm asking for. Absolutely.